Hello! Hello there, and welcome to the Tars Henry Channel Show. Tars Henry Channel Thanks for coming. It's good to see you again. Good to see you. It's always good to see you. This week, I did have a plan of what I was going to talk to you about. This plan came from a friend. Right now, I'm having a fantastic week off. A well-deserved, well-earned week off. So Friday, I went camping with my wonderful friends. Shout out to the camping crew. I salute you guys. Love you all very much. So once a year I go camping with my very good friends. It's just a fantastic time, and we went to a wonderful place called Pitch Perfect Camping. It's just amazing, and it's near Bath and a beautiful part of the country. My friend Holly, shout out to you, Holly. She suggested an idea for a video that I could do for my channel. And I was going to do that straight away. I was going to do that for this week's episode. But what's happened is I wanted to spend this week like running and doing all my washing up, doing my laundry. You know, I could sort the garden out. I could sort my pension out. I could phone all my aunties and uncles and catch up with people. There's so many things that would be productive and good. I could do loads of guitar practice. I could work more and more on my album. I could do even more of my music studies that I've been doing. I've started doing some online courses where I'm learning about EQ and compression and stuff like that. A quick interjection. If you're watching this in 2024, then you can't see right now, you can't see episode 18. There's a very good reason for that. Episode 18 of my show, it's on private until January 2025. And it's not something I'm going to talk about. I'm sorry. It's a complicated reason, and it's a private personal reason. I talked about other people in my family, and it's, you know, I hope you can understand it's to do with their privacy, and it's sort of time specific. For just until Christmas, this video is not going to be visible. Okay, it's all totally fine. Everything's fine with my family. Everyone's happy. Everyone's good. After January, it's not really going to be. It's not an issue anymore. So that's kind of as much as I want to say about it. I know it's very vague, but 6 months from now, it's going to be 2025, and this is not even a relevant message. So I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I will try and avoid this situation ever happening again. But in this case, there was nothing I can do. So that's why episode 18 is not available right now, but it will be January 2025. So anyway, I was given this fantastic idea by my dear friend Holly while we were camping this weekend. And I came back and I was like, right, I'm going to do this great idea. And I've got home and I've just spent the whole time opening tabs and tabs and tabs and tabs on YouTube, just watching loads and loads of videos. I've not done any studying. I've just eaten takeaway pizza. I've watched Godzilla -1, which is amazing. Just been watching like telly. I've just been watching YouTube. I've just been eating like pink wafers, like eating pink wafers and masturbating basically. And so it's just like, right, why am I just eating pink wafers and masturbating? Why am I not doing the kind of things that would be good for me? And there is a good reason for this, and that's what I wanted to talk about this week. Yeah, so the question is, why, instead of doing all of that, I've cleared the decks, I've got some time, some free time to do with as I please, right? To try and, you know, build myself up, make time, you know, rest, sure, but also to like move things forward and build up my life and try and make things better. Why have I decided to just stay in bed and then eat pink wafers and spank and and just whack off, you know, just keep knocking them out? What's going on there? Why can't I just do things normally, like a normal person? And the reason is, there's two parts of your brain, and I've been looking into it. I've heard about it before. I've heard about your lizard brain. And I've heard that you've got your sort of your lizard brain, which defines your emotions, and your emotional brain. On my telephone I doom scroll daily, twisted media playing hatred games with lives beside political lies. If we don't grow up soon, everyone dies. Which is like the part of the came first in evolution, and it's like deeper in, it's a smaller bit closer to the brain stem, and that is responsible for your emotions and your the things you actually do, your real behavior, like, you know, your sex drive as well, and like your response to, like, apparently if you take drugs, like the high comes from there, or is partly to do with that part of your brain. And what you end up doing, your real behavior, is partly dictated by your lizard brain, your amygdala, which is your part of your limbic system. So that's it. And then you've got your cortex, which is the more recent addition to the brain in terms of the animal brain, which is, in humans we have a jumbo big cortex, and that we have a prefrontal cortex, and that is where we do our long-term thinking and our strategizing and making plans and setting goal lists and organizing and thinking about long-term things. That's where the grown-up is. The grown-up inside us is basically our prefrontal cortex. That's that part of our brain. And then we've got that, and that part of our brain is like the adult in the room. And then the monkey mind is the amygdala, or which is part, well, the limbic system, I think it is more accurate. So anyway, I was just thinking about that, and I just thought, instead of doing this video, which I planned, which is going to take a lot more work, I'm just going to do a quick Google search, and let's investigate more about why, instead of doing a more complicated and fancy video, and also working on my online coursework, why I've instead been eating pink wafers and feverishly masturbating. I found an article on Psychology Today on their website, psychologytoday.com. It's written by Jeremy Shapiro, PhD. I'll put a link in the description. And it's called "Two Parts of the Brain Govern Much of Mental Life." And it basically outlines this interplay between the limbic system and the prefrontal cortex. So I'm going to show you a bit of it. And also, I'm going to look at a bit of Wikipedia as well. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so the limbic system, also known as the paleo-mammalian cortex, we're looking at the Wikipedia. The paleo-mammalian cortex, that is a word. That is a great word. If I was an MC, I'd be using paleo-mammalian. I might even find a way to use that in a song one day. Paleo-mammalian. Something, I'm an alien. The limbic system, also known as the paleo-mammalian cortex, is a set of brain structures located on both sides of the thalamus, immediately beneath the median... Oh, boring. Okay. The structures and interacting areas of the limbic system are involved in motivation, emotion, learning, and memory. The limbic system is highly connected to the prefrontal cortex. Okay, the limbic system also interacts with the basal ganglia. I love that. Basal ganglia. Yeah, this is my basal ganglia, yo. Don't mess around with my basal ganglia. Smack you down. I don't know, but it sounds pretty badass, doesn't it? Basal ganglia. Don't fuck about with my basal ganglia. Got a basal ganglia. I'm from East Anglia. I don't mess about. There we go, I've run out of words. Okay. It's hypothesized that the basal ganglia are not only responsible for motor action selection, but also the selection of more cognitive actions. I'm a human being who comes from East Anglia. I choose what to do with my basal ganglia. That's pretty good, isn't it? That's pretty good. But anyway, I've got distracted from the limbic system and the prefrontal cortex by looking at the basal ganglia. The limbic system interacts with the prefrontal cortex, creating the relationship between emotions and thoughts. Therefore, emotions are triggered by events that occur, and humans are consciously aware of the importance of emotions. So this brilliant article, 2 parts of the brain govern much of mental life, by Jeremy Shapiro, PhD, on Psychology Today. This is what I've been reading. Okay, this is the article. Okay, I'll post a link to it under the video. Jeremy Shapiro's article. This section is called The Tortoise and the Hare. The prefrontal cortex thinks relatively slowly and carefully, with conscious, labour-intensive efforts to figure things out. The amygdala reacts automatically, impulsively, and extremely fast in milliseconds, and its operation is mostly unconscious. So that's why we talk about like subconscious behaviors, or yeah, that makes sense. So that's why, you know, you can be concentrating or trying to do some work or something sensible, but then like you get distracted so easily by pink wafers or cheesy baked goods. At the end of the article, basically he summarizes, he says, the prefrontal cortex is equipped for complicated situations in which there is plenty of time to think. Okay, so strategizing about your life, your YouTube videos, your work, you know, what you're going to eat across the week, to eat healthily, all that kind of stuff, planning in gym sessions or seeing your friends, or, you know, whatever you might be doing. That's your prefrontal cortex at work there in action. Some combination of the two is optimal for complicated, emotionally charged situations that require us to think on our feet. Most interpersonal problems seem to be of this type. Okay, that's interesting. The limbic system is not stupid, it's just emotional and intuitive. But nonetheless, the limbic system is responding, is simplistic, and it's vulnerable to all kinds of biases and it's impulsive. Prisons and bankruptcy courts are filled with people who went with their gut, i.e. they followed their limbic system in action and just did what they felt they wanted to do in the moment. You know, they weren't thinking long term, they went with their gut, they followed their animalistic lizard brain and just did what they felt they wanted to do in the moment. In a way, our prefrontal cortex, you know, our thinking mind, our conscious thinking mind, needs to be like, to put checks and balances in the way so that we can just be more effective as human beings. Part of being human is we have these animalistic impulses and drives that make us who we are. We need a balance of these two things. You have to have some kind of empathy for yourself and to give yourself a bit of balance. And maybe my subconscious is trying to tell me that actually this week I need to chill a bit more. I need to take it easier on myself. Maybe not try and do too much stuff. Maybe some snacks and some me time is is what the doctor ordered. Maybe that's what I need for this week. So anyway, I'm taking it easier this week. I'm gonna be kinder to myself, more empathetic to myself. And yeah, maybe I'll do a bit of guitar practice or do some fun stuff and see some friends. You know, if you're struggling a bit with, like, you know, what you want to do versus what you are doing, with procrastination versus productivity, and trying to put habits in place, trying to consistently do the right thing and show up for yourself, that's all good stuff. But, you know, this is what we're dealing with. It's good to know what's going on. It's good to know a bit about how your brain works, and I hope that this has enlightened you somewhat on how the brain works. Okay, it's enlightened me somewhat, so it's been good to find out. Thanks for coming along this week. It's been lovely to see you, and you take care of yourself, okay, because you're very important and you're a brilliant person, okay, and I know you're doing the best you can. Okay, we all are. Okay, so big respect and big love to you. Okay, ciao for now.
The Darth Henry Channel Show.
Okay, and I just wanted to quickly add, there wasn't time for me to go through my fan mail this week, obviously, because, I've been, talking about a lot of stuff. So, okay, so cheers. Good.